What's going on, everybody? Respawn Gentleman here. So as we know, Dying Light 2's first anniversary is next month, and I decided that now's a good time to reflect on what made me want to play the game in the first place and the more positive things about the game. It's obvious that the game is super broke right now and there's all kinds of issues, so I know these aren't going to be the most popular opinions, but they are just my personal thoughts. I do have to say that before I start, I'm not being compensated for saying nice things about the game contrary to popular belief. To be totally honest, I don't really make a ton of money from this channel right now, which is why this is not my full-time thing at the moment. I'm just passionate about the games that I cover in great depth, and the things I'm going to list are why I dedicate so much time to Dying Light 2. So that brings us to number 1, which is Techland and the Dying Light 2 community. I enjoy that the community for this game is very passionate, whether it's to show support or discontent. I like being able to have tons to talk about within the game with a lot of people who actually are interested in it. The game has many aspects that drive conversation. Granted, it's mostly negative from what I've seen amongst the community, but I haven't had a game that I can talk about with people like this in quite some time, or at least not in recent memory. Techland themselves are actually very connected and responsive to the players, unlike a lot of other developers. Now sure, there are times where it seems like players' voice is heard but not really taken into consideration, but I do have to admit that their level of engagement is much better in comparison to other developers and gaming communities. Now to kind of piggyback off that one, I actually really enjoy all the extra content that they do add to the game. I think we all know the different various issues that have come with the community events, the chapters, and the DLC, but I do actually like that they are constantly adding stuff to the game. Even if the additions are subpar at times and have a lot of room for improvement, I like that it's actually being worked on. There have been other developers who go through similar things and just drop the game completely. If any of you guys remember my videos for Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, this is an example of that. For that game, the last thing they did was release a DLC because people had paid for it, and that's all we heard from it. There was no more word from them whatsoever. I do know in that particular case there was some issues going on with the studio. I have no details on that information, but something was going on, and it basically made it to where they never updated the game hardly at all, and they only released the DLC because people bought it. So the parkour is another aspect of the game that I actually really enjoy. If you go back and watch videos of Timon and stuff about David Bell, who they actually based Hack-On off of, you'll notice that the emphasis they put on parkour, so they really wanted to get it right and as close to realistic as possible. Now, I do think that the parkour is stronger in, like, say, Mirror's Edge and Mirror's Edge Catalyst, for example, but again, it's still a really fun way of moving throughout the city in this game. The actual zombie smashing is something I do enjoy in both Dying Light games. Now, that's regardless of the whole weapon bounce thing that they've got going on right now, it does look a little weird. Now, I'm not a giant fan of fighting the renegades. That is probably my least favorite thing about Dying Light 2. Well, one of the least favorite things about Dying Light 2. But the zombies do keep it interesting. They do kind of keep you on your toes. Now, sure, they aren't perfect, and they're a bit grabby right now, which I really, really hope Techland fixes soon because it's actually kind of annoying. It's still fun to smash the zombies, regardless of that. And when it comes to weapons, I would like to see more of them. I am kind of happy with the ones that are in the game, but I want more weapons that do actual decent amount of damage, and really an increase in storage space, which I don't know if we'll ever get. Hopefully, fingers crossed we do, but who knows at this point. Guns would also be a nice addition, but honestly, that's what Dead Island 2 is for. And people ask me all the time if I get bored of this game, and the answer is, of course, I definitely get bored, but these are the reasons why I keep playing the game and plan on doing so for the next 4 years. So this game brings out so many different types of players. There's the loyal players who, no matter what happens with Techland, they're like, we're going to stick with you, we're going to play it no matter what. Then you've got all the new people coming in, hearing about it, like, oh man, this looks kind of fun. They're jumping in. And then you have the older players who are maybe getting tired of it and they're wanting to leave. You know, whichever one you look at it, this game still brings out a lot of people to the game, even though it's not nearly as much as the first game does. It's still a pretty decent amount, especially compared to things like Anthem, which has no one playing. So if your game's doing better than Anthem, it's not bad. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.